Hello everyone, welcome to day 17 of June Lead Code Challenge, and today's question is number of sub-arrays with bounded maximum. In this question we are given an array of positive integers, and along with that we are given two integers as well, left and right. We need to return the number of contiguous sub-arrays that such that the value of the maximum element in that sub-array is at least left and at most right. So let's try and understand it by the example. 2, 1, 4, 3 is the input array. The left bound is 2, the right bound is 3, and the output expected is 3. There are 3 sub-arrays that meet the condition 2, 2, 1, 3. If you carefully observe, then in all these 3 sub-arrays, the maximum element is within the range of left, right, both included. So without much ado, let's look at the presentation that I have created for this. Let's get started. Number of sub-arrays with bounded maximum, lead code 795. I have taken a slightly longer example so that you get a better understanding of the algorithm, and let's get started. Here the left bound that is given to us is 3, the right bound that is given to us is 5, and the array elements are something like this: 1, 4, 2, 6, 2, 3, 8, 5, 2. And let's start the iteration. Let's try and identify those sub-arrays where the maximum element in that sub-array lies within the range of left, right. Let's get started with the first sub-array that we have 1. So this is the sub-array 1. What is the maximum element in this range? It is 1. Does it qualify to be part of it? It doesn't, because the maximum element is 1 and it is less than the value of left, so this should not be included. Let's move on to the next element. We have 4. How many sub-arrays can be formed including 4? The first one being 1, 4, and the second one being 4 itself. So I can form 2 sub-arrays. So let's try and check whether both of them qualify for the condition or not. In 1, 4, what is the maximum element? The maximum element is 4. It lies within the range, so this sub-array is to be included. And similarly, the sub-array that only includes 4 as an element must be included. So the count becomes 2. The next element that we have is 2, and let's check whether we can generate sub-arrays including 2 that satisfies the condition. So there can be 3 sub-arrays that can be generated: 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 4, 2, and 2 itself. So let's check what out of these 3 which all qualify to be part of our answer set. 1, 4, 2 must be part of the answer set because in the maximum element there is 4 and it lies within the range. So this becomes part of the answer. The count gets updated to 3. And next we have 4, 2. 4, 2 also lies within the answer because the maximum element in this range is 4, which is part of the condition. So this gets added. And next we have 2 independent 2. The maximum element in this range 2 itself is 2, so it doesn't lie within the left boundary, so we will abort it or will not consider it. So far the count has been updated to 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Let's continue the process. Next we have is 6. So can you include 6 in the answer set ever? No, because it is out of range of the right element. 6 can never be included in the answer set. Any sub-array that has 6 in it will never be part of it because it is out of range of right. It's greater than right rather. The next element that we have is 2. Let's check the sub-array starting from 2. Can this be in part of the answer set? No, because it is out of range. Let's start from 3. How many sub-arrays can be generated? First one being this one and second one being this one. So out of these 2, which all will be part of the answer set, what is the maximum element in the range of 2, 3? It is 3. So this becomes the part of the answer set because it is within the range of left, right. So this becomes part of the answer set. Next we have 3 independent 3. It also qualifies the condition and becomes part of the answer set. the count gets updated to 6. Let's move ahead. Next we have 8, and can you create any sub-array that has 8 in it, and will that be part of the answer set ever? The answer is no, because all sub-arrays including 8 will make the maximum element higher than the value of right bound that we have, and it can never be part of the answer set. So these higher nodes causes the sub-arrays on the left of it to never be included in any condition going further. For 5 and 2, we cannot consider any sub-array to the left of 5. Why? Because here there was one value which is greater than the right one, and it blocks the process. Similarly, we identified two blocking points, 6 and 8, which were greater than 5. So let's continue the process, and next we have is 5. So starting 5, how many sub-arrays can you generate? Only one. And will that be part of the answer set? Yes, because it lies within the range of left comma right. So this gets added. And next we have 2. So including 2, how many sub-arrays that we can generate? 5 comma 2, 1 with 5 comma 2 and other independently 2. So will 5 comma 2 be part of the answer set? Yes, because the maximum element lies within the range. Will only 2 qualify for the answer set? No, because it is lower than the left value. So how many sub-arrays did we identify in this complete process? 1 comma 4, 4 independently, 1 4 2, 4 2, 2 3, 3 5 and 5 2. So that makes the count till 8. Now what are the takeaways from this logic? The first one being, you identify the blocking nodes, the nodes that are higher value than right, because that are blocking the previous left sub-arrays to be considered. Just keep this point in your head, and now let's build our algorithm. We'll be using two-pointer approach to solve this question, and we will try and calculate the size of each window that is to be included as part of our answer count. And the initial value of start will be 0, the end would be 0. Let's hypothetically consider that you have moved up till the first index, and what is the window count size here? The window count size is 2 by virtue of two sub-arrays, the first one being 1 4 and the other one being 4. So both of them qualify to be part of the range, and the window size becomes equal to 2. End minus start is pointing to 0, end is pointing to 1, plus 1. That makes the window count as 2, and it becomes part of your answer set. The count becomes 2. Now hypothetically assume that the next element that we have is 2. How many sub-arrays can be generated, 2 included, that are part of the answer set? So let's first of all check whether 2 lies within the range of left comma right or not. It is lower than left. So what we are going to do, we'll blindly add whatever previous window size was to our answer set. The previous window size was 2, and we'll update the answer set by 4. Why I am saying this? Because what are the two sub-arrays that can be generated with the new element into place? It can be 4 comma 2, 4 comma 2 and 1 4 2, 1 4 2. So 1 4 2 and 4 comma 2. And what was the sub-arrays that were part up till the previous element? It was 1 comma 4 and 4. Because the value of 2 is lower than the left range, we will use the previously calculated windows to extend our answer. So 1 comma 4 gets extended to 1 4 2, 1 4 2. So this gets matched with this, and 4 gets extended to 4 comma 2. Therefore we are simply using the previous window length and adding it to our answer. I hope this part is clear to you, because it is a very important concept. Let's move on to the second case. whenever you see an element that is within the range of left comma right, you will recalculate the window size. So let's try and understand this. Let's hypothetically assume that we have already reached up till this position, end points to 1 which has 4 value and start points till 0. There are two sub-arrays that are to be added into our answer set, 1, 4 and 4. Now comes another element which is 5. 5 being part of the range 3, 5. What we are going to do, we'll have to recalculate the window size. End points here and recalculation of the window size must take place. New window size would be equal to 2, 0 plus 1, 3. Why I am saying 3? Let's try and generate the sub-arrays including 5. So first one being 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 4, 5 and next one being 5 itself. So 1, 4, 5, 4, 5 and 5 itself. I hope this part is also clear to you. Let's move on to the third case. What happens when an element lies within the outside range of right? What are we gonna do? So which element lies outside range of right? There is only one element here, which is 6. What we are gonna do, we will reset the window size up till 0 because these are the blocking points as discussed in the previous section. So we'll update the window size to 0 and we'll repivot the starting position to end plus 1. So if end was pointing here and start was pointing here, what you are going to do, you will repivot your starting pointer to end plus 1 to the next entry, and end will be automatically incremented to higher value in the next iteration. So just remember these 3 rules and let's try and apply them over to this logic. Start is pointing to 0, end is also pointing to 0 and the initial window size is 0 itself. So window size is 0 and the count, let's store it in an answer variable. So this holds the count, which is again 0. Let's start the iteration. The first element is 1. It is less than the range of left. So whatever the window size was in the past, we'll use that, which is 0, and add it to our answer set. So 0 gets added to 0, the answer stays 0. Let's move on to the next iteration. N gets incremented here and now points to 1. At 1 we have 4. 4 lies within the range of 3, 5. So this value, since it lies within the range of 3, 5, we will recalculate the window size. Window size becomes end minus start plus 1. 1 minus 0 plus 1, which is 2. So window size becomes 2 and count becomes 2. So 2 elements got added into our answer set, 1, 4 and 4. Let's move on to the next iteration. N gets incremented to 2 and at 2 we have the element 2. So this 2 is less than the left value, as a result of which we'll use the previous window size. Previous window size is 2, so the count will be updated with the value of previous window size and it becomes 2 plus 2 is 4. And what all sub-arrays got added as part of the answer set, 4, 2 and 1, 4, 2. So 4, by virtue of 4, 4, 2 got added, and by virtue of 1, 4, 1, 4, 2 got added. Let's continue the process. Next we have 6. At 6, it's a blocking condition. So we will reset the window size. Window size gets reset to 0 and starts get updated to end plus 1. So we get start here. End again gets incremented by 1, so end also points here. And at 4 we have element as 2. 2 doesn't lie within the range, so whatever the previous window size was, we'll use that. Previous window size was 0, we'll add it to the count still remains 4. Let's continue the process. N gets incremented by 1 and it points to 5, so the value here is 3. 3 lies within the range of left, right, so we will recalculate the window size. 5 minus 4 end minus start plus 1 is 2, so window size gets updated to 2. This is the new window size, and the count gets updated to 6. What all elements have we considered? 2, 3 and 3 itself. Again we got a blocking element, so starts get updated to 7 and end also gets updated to 7. Does 5 lie within the range of 3, 5? The answer is yes. So we are going to recalculate the window size. So by virtue of 8, the window size got updated to 0, and now since we have 5, the window size will be recalculated and it will be given by end minus start plus 1. So 7 minus 7 plus 1 gives you 1. So window size becomes equal to 1, and the count gets updated to 7. Next we have is 2, and 2 is lower than the left range. We will use the previous window size, which was 1, and 1 gets added to our answer set and the answer becomes 8. What all window sizes got added as part of the answer set? 5 and 5, 2. I hope this logic is clear to you, and without much ado, let's look at the coding part. Talk less, code more. I have taken 4 pointers here, one for storing the result, one for the start index, one for the end index, and one for calculating the window count. And I started iterating over the end iterator end, while end is less than nums.length. First of all, I'll check whether the current element is within the range. If it is, then I recalculate the window size. So if the current element is within the range, I recalculate the window size by using the formula end minus start plus 1. Else if I check whether the element is outside the range, if it is outside the range, I reset the window count and update my start pointer to end plus 1, which makes absolute sense. If my element is less than the left element, I use the previous window size as the value, so window count becomes equal to window count, and in the end I simply add it to my answer set, increment the value of end, and simply return result as my answer. Let's just try this up. Accepted. What is the time complexity of this approach? The time complexity is pretty straightforward. Order of n, and space complexity is constant because we are not using any extra space. I hope you enjoyed today's session. If you did, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Have a great day ahead, and thanks for watching it.